Voyager 2 is dying slowly, music, and its last warning may have already arrived. The spacecraft is still alive, music, but only barely compared to what it once was. Its cameras are dead. Many instruments are off. Its power is fading year by year. And yet, from the edge, music, of interstellar space, Voyager 2 is still sending back tiny pieces of truth from a place no human can reach. Then came, music, the warning. A faint change in the data. A signal from beyond the sun's shield. A clue that something outside our solar system was not as calm, music, as we thought. And now one question hangs over, music, the mission. Will Voyager 2 go silent before NASA understands what it was trying to say? This matters because Voyager 2 is music, not just collecting science. It is running a race against its own power supply. NASA says both Voyager probes rely on radioisotope power, music, and lose about 4 watts of power each year. To keep them alive, engineers, music, have been shutting off heaters and instruments while trying to preserve the most valuable science for as long as possible. That means every signal from Voyager 2, music, now has a countdown behind it. If the spacecraft detects a strange plasma wave, a magnetic shift, or a change, music, in cosmic particles, scientists have to act fast because the warning may not repeat, music, and the machine that heard it may not survive long enough to explain it. Voyager 2 is not dead. That is what makes music this worse. It is still alive, still sending data, still answering Earth from a place so far away, music, that every message feels like it should be impossible. But Voyager 2 is dying slowly, not in fire, not in an explosion, not in one dramatic final, music moment. It is dying by subtraction, one instrument off, then another. One heater sacrificed, then another system pushed closer to the edge. Less power, less warmth, music, less science, less spacecraft. NASA says Voyager 2 is still an active music mission in interstellar space, and current Voyager status pages show instruments like its magnetometer and plasma, music, wave subsystems still operating even as other systems have been shut down to save power. That is the first thing most music people miss. Voyager 2 has not simply gone silent. It is being kept, music, alive piece by piece. Engineers are choosing what part of the spacecraft can die so the rest can keep speaking. And somewhere inside that fading voice there may be a warning. Not a warning written in words. Not a message saying danger. A warning hidden, music, in the environment around it. A shift in the magnetic field. A change in plasma waves. A strange pattern, music, in cosmic particles. A clue from the region beyond the sun's protective bubble, where only 2 human-made spacecraft have ever operated. NASA describes Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 as music, the only spacecraft to operate outside the heliosphere, with Voyager 2 reaching interstellar space in music 2018. That is why the word final matters. Not because NASA has announced one final message. It has not. But music, because every signal from Voyager 2 now belongs to a countdown. The spacecraft relies on radioisotope power. And NASA says the Voyager probes lose, music, about 4 watts of power each year. As power margins shrink, engineers have to keep turning things off to preserve the mission. Think about that. 4 watts per year. That sounds tiny. A small light bulb, a phone charger, music, almost nothing. But for Voyager 2, 4 watts is survival. 4 watts can decide whether an instrument stays, music, alive. 4 watts can decide whether a heater remains on. 4 watts can decide, music, whether the spacecraft keeps listening to interstellar space or becomes a silent monument drifting, music, between the stars. And this is where the warning begins. Voyager 2 is no longer music exploring planets. That mission ended decades ago. It already gave us Uranus. It gave us Neptune. It showed humanity worlds we, music, have never visited again. Now it is doing something stranger. It is sampling the space beyond the sun. The invisible borderland, music, where the solar wind fades, cosmic rays rise, magnetic fields shift, music, and the galaxy begins to push back. But the conflict is brutal. The most important music place Voyager 2 has ever reached is also the place it reached when it had the least power left. This is like arriving, music, At the edge of an ocean after walking for 50 years and realizing your flashlight is dying just as you hear something moving in the waves. Voyager 2, music, can still detect pieces of that ocean, but not forever. JPL reported in 2025 music that Voyager 2 would continue operating its magnetic field and plasma wave instruments for the foreseeable future, while other instruments were being shut down or scheduled for shutdown to extend music the mission. That means the spacecraft is becoming more focused, more fragile, more haunted. It has fewer music senses now, but the senses that remain are the ones listening to the edge. The magnetometer can measure the magnetic music field around the spacecraft. The plasma wave subsystem can detect waves in the thin-charged music material of interstellar space. Together, they can reveal something no telescope on Earth can touch directly: the local conditions, music, beyond the heliosphere. And that is the warning. Because the edge of the solar system may not be calm. It may be shifting, rippling, leaking, responding, music, to solar storms from behind and galactic pressure from ahead. Voyager 2 is not outside all influence of the Sun. It is outside the heliosphere, but not outside music, the larger solar system. The Sun's gravity, music, still reaches far beyond, and NASA notes the Voyagers have not left the solar system in music, the broader sense, because the Oort cloud boundary is much farther away. That detail matters because Voyager 2 is in a strange in-between place. Not inside the Sun's bubble, music anymore. Not free of the Sun completely. Not in the familiar solar system. Not in empty nothing. It is crossing the music borderland. And borderlands are where warnings appear first. A change in particle density, a change in magnetic music direction, a wave moving through plasma, a sudden shift that says something outside music is pressing in, or something inside is still reaching out.